All right, we'll get the second meeting for the Parks and Recreation Bond Oversight Committee going. Today we'll be covering a few things here. Let's see if my screen will advance. It's not advancing. Hold please. It's further. There we go. Okay. So we'll introduce our new project manager. We'll do a quick staff introduction. I know we did that last time, but since our new project manager's on board, you can introduce yourselves real quick so she knows who you are and what you do. So if she needs help or guidance, whatever it may be, she knows who to reach out to. And then we'll give an update on the bond sale. Kevin's actually here, so I'll let you take the glory in that one. That was awesome. And we have an updated project timeline, and then we'll go over the status of some of our projects we have going on. So let's kick it off. Gina, do you want to introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. All right. Thank you. Hi, I'm Gina Oberding. It's nice to meet you and those on the phone that I have not yet met. Sarah and Chris participated in my interview, so I had met them in person. So it's really nice to meet you. For the last 8 years, I've worked at the University of Colorado on a statewide collaborative to address the opioid and fentanyl crisis. And my responsibility within that was, as the assistant director, I oversaw all of our grants, all of our staff, all of our day-to-day stuff, and just forward to backwards, all of it, basically. A great initiative, a great things that we're doing for the state of Colorado, really in a very collaborative way. And I see a lot of the work that I did there translating into this role. So working very closely with the finance department, working really closely with communications, working really closely with these other departments to make this thing function, as a unit, as a whole, moving these projects forward. And especially with a short timeline, I think we can get this done. So I look forward to working with all your different departments and really advancing this work. My, footprint in the city of Inglewood has been, I've been a homeowner for 15 years, and the last 2 years I've participated on the library board, Elevate Inglewood, and then I was a co-chair for the Inglewood Schools mill levy that was on the bond that year. And that was really tremendous because I really got out in the community, got to hear people's voices. And I think that will translate to this role too, just talking to people about what their concerns are with the bond. Where are we with these projects? Share with me. So I think, what I'm really excited about is this position allows me to really bring what I am passionate about, which is my community, and in a way that, helps me to focus my energy in one way and not being pulled in so many different directions, with a full-time job. This is my full-time job, and how lucky am I to have gotten chosen to have this position. So anyway, thank you for hiring me. Thank you for saying yes. And I look forward to starting on May 5th.
Yeah, May 5th will be your first day, official day. She participated in the bond sale and obviously is here today for this meeting. So yeah, we look forward to you jumping on board and getting going. She's a very organized person, and we had great references that gave just wonderful reviews of Gina and recommendations.
Does that include Dwayne Tucker? Because he's
sure
trouble.
Does. Yeah, he was one that was very vocal about you. So yeah, we're excited to have Gina, and just her impact on the community already has been pretty fast. So this is going to be even bigger. Brad, do you want to introduce yourself and your role with the city?
Sure. Okay. Hi, Gina. I'm Brad Power.
Hi.
I'm the director of the Community Development Department.
Okay.
So we do all the city's planning, building, zoning, anything that's built, we deal with it. So anything that requires a building permit, feel free to consult with our staff if there's any kind of questions about whether something down the road may or may not. It's always best to ask first. We're going to try to hold ourselves as an organization to the standards we expect from the private sector as well. So we'd be glad to help out with that as building stuff starts to come online.
Great. Nice
Welcome.
to meet
Glad
you,
to
Brad.
be here.
Thank you.
Kevin Ingles, Director of Finance. Our role will back off a little bit now that we're going to get the money in a few days. We'll still be involved. I think you're going to be officing in our place for a little while.
Yeah.
Right next to purchasing, which you'll become friends with.
That's right. Yep.
So glad to help with whatever we can.
Well, thanks for signing the, I heard your signature was on the final sale, huh?
My signature's on a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the money.
So don't
Appreciate
spend too
that.
much.
Okay.
Don't spend too much.
He's going to get us a big check. Yeah.
Super.
I really think we should do it.
I think we should.
We should.
Can I have it though?
Yes. No. Still do.
Two, we want two, Kevin.
Make his smaller.
We'll do two checks.
Yes.
This is how much we're saving.
That's right.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Chris Hargett, I'm the communications director.
Great.
Our role is we created and are currently executing the Renew and Recreate campaign. So I'm sure you'll be working really closely with our team,
Yeah,
Very close.
report on progress, changes, and things like that. So,
great.
Tom's team is amazing. So.
Well, they are amazing, and I was exposed to your team during the Elevate
you looked familiar, and that's probably why.
because I just have been thrilled as a citizen at how much you're doing, and I feel very well informed. So I think your team is doing an outstanding
Right,
job.
it is definitely a team effort. We have a few of them online, and they'll be able to introduce themselves here in a
Did you
moment.
do the Legos with me?
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Did you build the city with Legos?
Yes.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, great. Well, it's nice to see you again.
That's how you're known around the city.
It's a Lego guy.
Lego guy.
Well, it was fun. It was a fun way to think about
Yeah.
the city, so that was a great exercise.
Well, you know,
Cool.
Brad, Christina, Debbie, and Adrian
Yep.
met us. So online, we've got Jenna from the Parks and Rec Commission. Do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and your role?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jenna Biondolillo. I'm the vice chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, landscape architect, just on this committee to kind of report back to the Parks and Rec Commission, and excited to be a part of it, and be the Parks and Rec Commission's representative in this oversight committee.
Thank you, Jenna. Lex.
Hi, I'm Lex, in the designer in the communications department. We work on a lot of the branding and social campaigns for the parks projects, and I also work on the magazine. So just with my team, we work a lot just pushing out this information to the public.
Perfect, thank you. Sarah.
Hello, Sarah Stant. I'm the recreation manager at the Inglewood Recreation Center. So we are one of the bigger projects that is on the docket. So happy to see this all come to fruition.
Oh, yeah. Amanda.
Hi, Amanda Arts, communication strategist on the communications team. We'll be working together on updating Inglewood Engage pages, making surveys, getting out messaging on the updates to all these programs that our parks improvements that we're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Erica.
Hi. Oh man, that's dark. Hold on one second. Okay, that's a little better. I'm Erica Gould. I'm the risk manager, so I will be there to make sure that everything's compliant with our insurance and just keeping an eye on safety.
Thank you, Erica. Victor.
And get off the mute button here. Good afternoon, Victor Rochelle. I'm the Director of Public Works. We work hand in hand on a lot of stuff with the Parks, Library, Golf, and Recreation team. On this project, Public Works will be helping out on a lot of the design, the land disturbance, all the permitting and things of that nature. As a side note, we also in Public Works facilities work a lot on Malley, Rec, Broken T, all those fun things, including Pirates Cove.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
And who did I miss? Oh, Chris.
Yeah, good afternoon, Chris Davison, Aquatics Manager. Welcome aboard, Gina. Glad to have you. I oversee the aquatic department both here at the Inglewood Recreation Center as well as Pirates Cove, but all things aquatics.
Thank you. All right, I think that's everybody. So move to the next slide. So again, Renew and Recreate is the campaign for the next few years, $41.5 million. We have 2 facilities and 8 parks. I'll have Kevin talk about the bond sale that occurred last Wednesday.
So we had planned on April 16th, and up until April 15th, we weren't sure if we were going to go to the market because the bond market was a little crazy for the last 30 days or so. But it settled down in time. We did go ahead with the sale. I think we ended up with 13 bidders, which is more than we expected and more than you normally get for this type of an issue. It is the biggest GO bond issue the city's ever done. Yay for that. And we will close on the bonds next Tuesday and have the money Tuesday or Wednesday.
Awesome. That's exciting. And our interest rate was 4.13.
Yeah, we when we first started talking about this a couple of years ago, we were thinking it was around 6% that we were going to get, and a total borrowing cost of around $72 million. When we finalized it, just over 4% interest rate and about $64 million total borrowing cost, so almost $10 million less than what we had seen originally.
Yeah, that 10 million is huge for the residents. That'll be a nice savings over time, for sure, while still being able to complete many of these projects. So May 19th, we're going to council for contract approval for design and construction's on that too for Cushing, right? So we're going to literally throw everything at council on the 19th, and we'll see if that works. But many of the contracts they do not actually have to approve due to the fact it's under the threshold, the dollar amount. But we're still going to take it so we're transparent to council where everything is at, where the contracts are, the dollar amounts we're spending. So it'll be a little bit of an update too on bond status for the projects itself. Cushing Park, like I just said, is ready to go under renovations here. So as soon as those contracts are approved and signed, we'll get going on Cushing Park. So the rest is laid out kind of generic in the fact that as we get further into design and construction timeline, we'll be able to fine tune this so we know the dates that parks are going to be closing or the facilities are going to be closing, and we're going to be very strategic on all of that. So hopefully we don't disturb the users of those amenities too much. There will be some, but hopefully not too bad. So I'm not going to go into too great detail on this, but as the bonds just sold, we are working on the financing piece for each of the projects and figuring out when the monies need to become activated for us to be able to spend them. We're really looking at probably 2027 is going to be the biggest year for the projects, and most likely we'll be under construction at the big ones. So Miller, Bellevue, Pirates Cove, and the Recreation Center. But timing is going to be everything. And it's something we'll work closely with finance on to ensure we have the right amount of funds as we need them for each of these projects. We are finding some of the projects are coming in over what we projected, but also meeting with some other designers not related to the bond. I'm realizing when you give them a dollar amount, they like to go over that, no matter what you say. I said we have 2 million. They gave me a project that was 3 million. And we don't have $3 million. So some of the designs we're really having to tweak, and we need to keep our designers really on track so we don't go over budget at all. So here's the parks. Adrian, do you have time or do you have 2 minutes?
Yes, I can go real quick. So kind of give you guys an idea of I'll just talk about what we're going to do in 25.
Yep.
As Christina said, Cushing is shovel ready. So as soon as funding's available, we'll start with Cushing. We have a contractor selected, so hoping to see early movement on that. Emerson, we approved 100%, so we should get stamped drawings pretty soon, do the RFP process, and hopefully start at Emerson late summer. Rotolo is a little bit behind Emerson, so we're probably at 95%. Once we get those 100%, we'll do the same, so that may be late summer, early fall. Bard, Clarkson, Northwest, and Miller are all going to be in design in 25. Bellevue, they're doing a study. As most of you know, it's in the floodplain currently where the barn sits. So this year's task for Bellevue is going to be a study to see locations that we can put the new barn and amenities at Bellevue.
And we're estimating potentially up to another $500,000 for design for Bellevue. That's the cost of this study for the floodway. So that price will increase, but just FYI, you'll see some more design costs coming in, at least for Bellevue Park, later this year.
Well, why is the design cost for Bard so close or closer to the budget than the others?
Is that right? I need to double check Bard. Bard seems way too high. I'll check that one. Good question. Great question. Thank you. We do have a contract, so we're okay. But yeah, you can see like Emerson versus like Rotolo's design fees. Emerson's a pretty flat park, where Rotolo is a retention basin for stormwater, and so there was more that went into that design than just Emerson with plopping in some plants and trail and playground stuff. So
I think I can answer that one, Christina. At Bard, that is not to exceed 209. We have some alternates in there. Potentially the pump house at Bard may get added to the project if we start using the well water at Bard again. So that's why that one is not to exceed that. But there's some adults in there for that project that could happen or could not happen.
okay, that makes sense now. Up to that. Yes. Yeah. Any questions on the parks projects for now? Okay.
Sorry, just one
Yeah, go ahead.
question. So, I'm not seeing design for irrigation. Is that just because you all are doing the design of the irrigation in-house?
So for Emerson and is it Cushing we have?
So those are also like adults with the design teams.
So we've received a couple bids already for Cushing, Emerson. Emerson's came in at 65,000. I think Cushing's is close to that. But ultimately, that irrigation is not part of the actual, like Cushing, the 600,000 is for the amenities and the renovations. We'll take the irrigation out of the irrigation fund when we start doing irrigation projects. 3 million is not gonna be enough for like a park like Bellevue, but that's something we'll address as we go along. That's a very large park and there's challenges at that one. So that's just something we'll be looking at as we move through these. The bids for the irrigation are coming in lower than I expected. And so hopefully that continues and the pricing for irrigation parts stays as consistent as possible because they're not too bad right now. But yeah, good question. All right, the rec center. So Sarah and Brad, if you guys want to talk about the rec center.
So you want to start, Sarah?
So that's the wrong number. We don't have 14 million for
Yeah.
the rec center. It's only 7 million. To ignore that.
Okay. I had some changes I wanted to make.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Sure, I can start, Brad. So our recreation center is in dire need of some improvements, and specifically in our locker rooms. They are just outdated and old, and a lot of the features are failing, and not a lot of thought went into how to fix things when they break. So quite a bit of this will go towards the locker room renovation. We are adding the pickleball courts in the back to where is an existing sand volleyball court, and that will include some access control into that area, and kind of redesigning our back lot to be efficient for not only safety for the pickleball players, but also trash and gas services. There'll be a pavilion back there to provide shade, and then of course limited landscaping improvements. And then I don't know enough about aquatics to speak to that, so I'm gonna let Brad with that one.
You're okay. And then also we have some ad alternates in there as well. One of the ad alternates is lighting for the pickleball courts in the back. We also have an ad alternate in there for replacing the filters at the recreation center, but we found other funding to do that before. It won't come out of the bond. And then also a cold plunge pool is what we put in there as an ad alternate. That is a very popular amenity at different facilities nowadays, so we're putting that in. So that's just a couple ones. Oh, another one is for accessibility up to the second floor. We're looking to do a new lift or an elevator up to that one. The current one we have is probably 30 some years old is where that's at, so we're looking to replace that. So that's some of the things we have right now. As far as the contract with it, that is at the city's attorney's office right now. Going through a review with OLC is the designer that we picked from that team. So we're hopefully working out some details with that one, and we'll have that back by next week is what I'm anticipating for. And then as far as the aquatics part, is it has up there too, the deck improvements, replace the deck, and then also the gutter tile that's going around the perimeter of the pool too. That will be replaced. We'll remove the green tile, we'll place it blue, and that's aesthetic. No structural damage with that one, but it's more aesthetic to bring it up to a more pleasing experience for the guests.
Green looks like algae.
Yeah,
Blue
green's
does
not
not.
good with pools.
Any questions on the Recreation Center? All right, pass this to Chris and Brad for, oh, that should say Pirates Cove. See, I didn't change the slide perfectly. So Pirates Cove, we've got $6.9 million for Pirates Cove improvements. Chris, do you want to talk about it?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick high level. Yeah, the main issue, or I guess the main goal with the funding for the bond from the bond is to remove the competitive pool that is currently there. That historically there had been some issues, structural issues that had over time has been problematic. And so in addition to that, and try to redesign that area, the intention is to replace the competitive pool with some various amenities there as highlighted here, potentially some multi-passenger inner tube slides with a run out. Also a pool with an open rec area, 2 or 3 lane pool that we're trying to utilize for future programming and programming that's existing there during the summer. In addition to that, having some other features there that would have some interaction or interactive features to really highlight parents, families, stuff of that nature. Some additional to that would be the addition of a pavilion capable of, and correct me if, about the number, that's something that would host anywhere in the neighborhood of approximately 150 people. So potentially some other areas to install additional cabanas that would be available for daily rent, as well as some landscape improvements as well.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more on that one. The reason for the slides is one of the biggest complaints we've had from day one is the current the slide structure that we have, you have to be 48 inches in height in order to use them. So the child that comes up that's 47.5 inches can't go down that one. So the slide runouts drops that height requirement down to 42 inches. So we'll be able to have more of the kids that just under 40 inches enjoy that. Then also by adding it as a multi-passenger tube ride, we can have 2 people or more go down the tube. So that's part of the slide. So that's the good thing about that one. We also have a couple add alternates in there as well. Some of it is with the filters to be replaced on the leisure pool and also the lazy river. The other one that we have in there is the hair and lens strainers that we have currently. Those are put in as an add alternate to be replaced. Most aquatic equipment has got a life expectancy of 12 to 15 years. And we are now starting the 22nd year of operation. So in the capital budget we have in there right now is starting to replace that. Just right now, this week, we replaced the lazy river boiler. So that was a capital project that we had slated for next year, but we got a good deal on a boiler, so we replaced that. We did pick a firm, BHA, last week. We picked them as the design team for the project. We are right now just putting together all of the documents and stuff for that one, the Schedule A, to be presented to City Council or to the City Attorney's Office to go through that one. So we're in that process. We should have that buttoned up by the end of next week is where we're at with that one. So we're excited about that one.
Okay.
That one, all the design teams have been selected. So,
Yeah, everybody's set to go for design. BHA is actually doing another city's aquatics, is it renovation or a new one?
It's a renovation. It's a kind of the same thing we're doing.
Yeah, so Brad talked to them and they gave really good reviews of BHA. So we feel pretty confident we'll get a great product out of that team.
And 2 of the designers were on the landscape architect design team for Pirates Cove originally back in 2003. So that was kind of cool.
So like I mentioned before, we're going to be going to council to get all these contracts approved on May 19th. And then we'll get the design process going. And Cushing's construction to start in June, so that'll be the first project kicking it off. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 22nd at 2 o'clock. We'll continue to do Teams and in person. So are there any questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for joining today and being a part of this. We'll see you in May.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anytime, Chris, anytime.
You're always here for me.
Keep them efficient.